Hey, I'm Becky, and this is the last part of my story that I have to tell. I'm here to say goodbye, I guess. Thanks for listening so far. So, anyway, let's see. Last time we left off, everything started to go black and I couldn't breathe. I was having a seizure, and a serious one at that. Casey saved me by calling an ambulance just in time. When I came to, he told me what had happened. Apparently, my seizure was the result of a stroke. I was frothing at the mouth and convulsing, and Casey said he got pretty freaked out, but he managed to find the decency in him to call an ambulance and then go straight home. Like a true gentleman. What else should I expect from a cowardly traitor like him? He only has ever put himself first. Anyway, when I arrived at the ER, I was feeling even worse than before. That last stroke almost gave me an even earlier death. Even the doctors, while polite, didn't look like they were holding on to much hope for me to pull through. So, I guess this is my life now, lying here with an IV always stuck in my arm, and the most interesting that happens is the constant rotation of my medications. I get pills in the morning, pills in the afternoon, and pills instead of dinner. The nurse is standing over my shoulder and checking whether I swallow all of them, and then she checks my mouth in case I hide some of them, like I'm an effing child. But to be honest, spitting them out has definitely crossed my mind, because every damn time after I take those stupid pills, I feel sick in a completely different way. My mind begins to go blank, and I feel like I'm stuck in a dense fog. Nothing feels real anymore. I just kind of drift, barely reacting to anything around me. Unfortunately, I can't just not take the pills, though. Within just a handful of hours, my whole body cries out in agony. My legs, arms, joints, and worse, my head. The only thing that can control the excruciating pain are those damned Space Cadet pills. And obviously, the doctors called my parents as soon as I was brought here. Everyone was crying when they saw me and my mom especially. I was crying because of pain, though, not just self-pity. And Mom, Dad, and I, we made up. It's kind of difficult to convince yourself and others that you're a strong, defiant, and independent woman when you can't even walk to the restroom on your own 2 feet. Slowly, though excruciatingly slowly, my body did begin to recover. The treatment was harsh. I was frail and weak, but I was finally starting to feel better, although all my hair did fall out. Unfortunately, I still needed to be in the hospital, but I was able to walk in the courtyard some days, and I also went to the toilet all on my own. Woo! At that moment, all of us thought that it was finally a positive turning point for me. The doctors around me seemed to be a bit more, what's the right word? Enthusiastic? I kept pestering them, asking, when can I go home already? The amount of daily medications was lowered. Doctors also took the IV out of my poor, tortured hand. And they no longer had to check on me every few hours during the night. It seemed like my body finally started to sort itself out. It stopped trying to switch off while I was sleeping. And that's when my bad luck reared its ugly little head again. I truly believed that everything would be fine. And then I accidentally eavesdropped on one conversation. Though it was night, I felt the urge to go for a walk. I got bored of having to lay all freaking day and needed to move around. Also, my usual amount of painkillers didn't completely knock me out till the morning as it usually did, and I started to feel the pain once again, creeping through my body. I snuck out of my hospital room and started walking across the wing. I didn't do anything special or try to break out or anything. I was just walking through the halls, holding onto the wall and trying to pass time until I felt sleepy enough to go back to bed. While out for my stroll, looking out the window, processing my life, having an existential crisis, I heard voices. It was some of my regular nurses as well as my doctor, and they quite clearly didn't expect to see a patient, let alone me, up and about this late, and they were discussing my treatment. The doctor was answering some of the nurses' questions and said that my usual medication isn't working anymore. And then the nurse asked, well, why does she feel better? And he said that it was just a partial remission before crap really hit the fan. This apparently often happens not long before the disease strikes down the host's body in full force. And that's why they weren't going to discharge me yet. But I don't understand. What the hell is the point of keeping me here if I don't have that long left anyway? It would be better for me to live my last days at home in a familiar and comfortable environment, living it the way I choose to. Either way, traditional medicine has clearly failed me. That was my reality. I wasn't healing as I thought. It was the beginning of the end. There was no point in fighting it. No one could help me now. Finally, I realized this, I guess. I understood something very important. Feeling sorry for myself and crying wasn't going to help me. I didn't want everyone to remember me as someone who was dull and depressed all the time. I wanted to do something big for everyone to remember me for being loud and alive. I know that the doctors can't save me anymore, so it's up to me to save my legacy. Unexpectedly, my parents supported me. Maybe at this point, I shouldn't be surprised by them. Anyway, we made a list together, sort of like that 100 Things to Do Before You Die book, but this was the Becky version. It was actually pretty cute. Mom, Dad, and I took turns coming up with ideas to put on the list, and we were all laughing and giggling like school children. In the end, we had a bit more than 100 things to do, but no one was really bothered by that. We didn't want to waste what time I had left, so the very next day, my parents discharged me from the hospital, and we hopped on a plane and flew to the beach. I've never seen the ocean in person before, and when I finally saw it, it wasn't as cool as I was expecting. Yeah, to be honest, sure, there was a lot of water, but, the sand got flipping everywhere, and the seagulls nearly stole my lunch. My disappointment eased up a little bit when we went swimming. It was oddly relaxing, sitting on the sand, feeling the waves crash over you. So loud and forceful, it temporarily blocks that voice in my mind constantly telling me that I'm going to die. Anyway, I saw the ocean, ticked it off, and soldiered on. Then there was a long ascent up into the mountains, made even longer since I had become so weak from treatment, but several people trained in first aid, and a nature guide went up with me and my parents. My parents looked like they regretted everything by the time we made it up, but the rest of us had loads of fun. It was rejuvenating. Beautiful landscapes, trees taller than buildings, fresh air. It was kind of romantic, even though I didn't have anyone worth sharing it with. After some time, everyone realized why I decided to climb the mountain. The look on my mother's face when I told her we couldn't go down just yet. That's right. This simple nature hike was not, in fact, my main goal. Bungee jumping was. And wow, what luck! There just so happened to be bungee jumping right here on this very mountain. Wow, what a coincidence. Oh my gosh, right? There was a cable car shuttle thing that went straight up to the mountain peak, but I like to do things the hard way. So I got all kitted out and I took the plunge into the abyss. It was amazing, though I screamed so loud that I swear it could have caused an avalanche. And my mom was screaming just as loud as I was, even though she was just watching from the platform. After the jump, when the adrenaline dropped, I managed to appreciate the gulch I jumped headfirst into, the beauty of the scenery, and also the thickness of my rope. Then we traveled to other places on our list. We picked so many beautiful and exciting places to see. Some places we had to fly to, others drive, and some even had to ride a bike to get to. And one time, I got to drive, and I had to outrun some cops when I ran a red light by accident. It was so thrilling. Insert mandatory disclaimer to tell you that I don't endorse breaking the law or whatever. We drove through waterfalls on jeeps and overcame the mountains, river rapids in canoes. Then we were at a beach party and I danced with 2 Italian guys. Now I see why people like the beach. I get it. And then in Alaska, I sledded with husky dogs. In Japan, I ate sushi under the blooming cherry trees. It seemed like I went to every place in this world during those 2 months. I'm a bit terrified to think about, how much my parents must have spent. But finally, we returned home. But that doesn't mean the fun stopped. There was a concert playing in the next city over, a Metallica concert. My dad and I bought front row tickets with a chance to have an autograph and a photo at the end. Like, honestly, even after everything I did, that was probably the best. Initially, we didn't put the concert on the list, but man, we should have. The vibe from the musicians and the fans was just wild. And then when James Hetfield hugged me, like, dude, that was the best moment of my life. During the show, we were screaming and singing along with the band, jumping like crazy and hugging other fans. I even forgot that I was ill for the first time in a long-ass time. We all just felt like one mass, screaming our heads off to our favorite songs. It's kind of hard to explain the feeling. You should totally try it. Well, now we're back home, but I'm still just so excited. There's no way I'm going to sleep anytime soon. There are just too many emotions in my head and a huge adrenaline rush, like I just took that bungee dive again. And I can't really express how nice these last months have been with my parents. I'm really glad I have them. Maybe I'll make them breakfast in the morning and let them know how much I appreciate them. Anyway, Mom just came in to say goodnight and turned off the lights, so it's getting a little hard to write in the dark. Oh well. I think I'm starting to get pretty sleepy anyway. I can't wait to see what crazy stuff they have planned for tomorrow. Good night, world.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jane, and I'm Becky's mother. That was me who read her diary for you during these several days. The record about the concert was her last one. She died that night in her bed. Cancer won her desire to live. But Becky left this world with a smile on her face during her sleep, and I'm forever thankful for that. My daughter is a good example of a little fighter. She didn't give up till the very end. She lived her life to the fullest, and she made us remember all the good things. I'm so proud, and I believe she continues her adventures high above. All the time, Becky kept her diary, where she wrote down all her adventures and thoughts. I know she wanted to publish it for people to remember her. So I'm carrying her final request now. I feel so much pain because she's not with us anymore. At the same time, I know Becky wouldn't want us to live our lives in sorrow. That's why I'm reading her journal for you right now. And my husband is booking tickets for us to visit the next place from Becky's list, because she hasn't managed to end it. I want to wish viewers one thing. Please do live. Just live your life and be happy. Let every day of your life be as cool as if you took it from the 100 Things list. Please subscribe to our channel to see the next episodes.